All right, Shalom. Giving all praises, going honors unto Yahawah by Hashem, Yahushua by Hashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the 144,000, the rest of the hopeful elect. This is your brother, the priest Yahawah from GMS Atlanta. Back with another edifying video. And this week, I'm going to, there was a an issue with last week's lesson with the sound. And it was brought to my attention during the last half of the lesson. Um, the lesson was on screen, but the sound was the audio stopped working. So um, it was these last four laws that I was going over. Um, so I'm actually add this to the list, and so we're gonna go over 190 to 208 this week, going over the commandments. Salakia for last week with the lesson. Lord willing, it doesn't happen this week, but I've been going over this for the last few months now. So, Satan has to cameo at certain points and do his thing, but through the spirit and power of Yahawah Shai, I'm going to continue going over these laws, these statutes, these commandments, right? And once again, we got to understand that we can't keep all the laws 100%, but this is a part of our heritage, all right? It was always customary for the priests, the elders of the people to go over the commandments. The elders, the leaders of the family should all know the commandments. Father and mother should know the commandments. The priest, the king had to write a scroll of the law. So this is something that we as a people always kept near and dear. That's why when you look at Israelites today, so-called blacks, Spanish, and Native Americans, there's nothing but rampant lawlessness. You know, there's a bunch of street codes and ways of life that pretty much our people do what they want to do, but that's not so. We've always had to have some kind of law governing us, okay, which is the laws given to Moses in the scriptures. So I'm gonna go ahead and start because I had to kind of backtrack on some commandments, but that's okay. um so I'm gonna start back here with the laws concerning times of tribulation and persecution, which when you go into these laws is really going into like war. Okay. But spiritually we are coming into a time of tribulation and persecution, uh, from Babylon the Great and this system. Esau, he's going to try to persecute this truth one last time, but he's going to lose. Okay. Last time he was able to scatter our people in 70 AD out of the land, destroy out of the land, but this time a remnant of our people are going to be saved through Yahweh Shai. So this is number 190, and it says, our conduct must be according to Yahweh's law during times of persecution. Deuteronomy 20, 11, and 12. So let's go over that. Deuteronomy 20, 11, and 12. So these are laws dealing with actual warfare, right? Which, of course, when war is in the land, somebody's persecuted, right? If you're if you if you have an enemy nation come into your land, then the people's going to be persecuted, right? Look at what's going on in Gaza right now. Those citizens are being persecuted by the other side. Okay, but these are laws dealing with warfare. So Deuteronomy 20 and 11. I'll start at verse 10. Let me get that. Yeah, I'll start at verse 10. Deuteronomy 20 Deuteronomy 20 and verse 10. When thou comest nigh unto a city to fight against it, then proclaim peace unto it. Now, during this time, this is when we were coming into the land of Israel, and we were to take over the land from the Canaanites. Okay? It says, when thou comest nigh unto a city to fight against it, then proclaim peace unto it. Basically, if we can get the land without war, then well, I'm gonna continue reading. And it shall be if it make the answer of peace and open unto thee, then it shall be that all the people that is found therein shall be tributaries unto thee, and they shall serve thee. So when we were coming into the land of Canaan, and we were to take the land from the sinful Canaanites, the Jebusites, the Hivites, the Perizzites, all those different clans and tribes of the Canaanites, we were to make them our slaves. All right, not be equal, not coming to the land and you know consider them friends. No, we were coming to that land to take it over. Okay, even at a proclamation of peace, we were to make those people our slave. That's what true peace is: the heathen underneath the Israelites as slaves. Okay, that's what this law is saying here. Verse 12, and if it will make no peace with thee, but will make war against thee, then thou shalt besiege it. So if they don't want to make peace, if they don't want to be our slaves, then we got to go to war against them. We got to go to war against them, okay? And take the city, okay? So now, let's go to 191. The priest must address the congregation in times of tribulation or warfare. Deuteronomy 22 through 4. So let's go to 2 through 4. I'll start at the top. Laws of warfare. Deuteronomy 20 and 1. When thou goest out to battle against thine enemies and seest horses and chariots and a people more than thou, be not afraid of them. For the Lord Yahawah thy God is with thee, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And it shall be when ye are come nigh into the battle, that the priest shall approach and speak unto the people, and shall say unto them, Hear, O Israel, ye approach this day unto battle against your enemies. Let not your hearts faint. So the priest was set up to instill courage in fighting men. Let not your hearts faint, fear not, and do not tremble, neither be ye terrified because of them. For the Lord Yahawah your God is he that goeth with you to fight for you against your enemies to save you. All right. So this is our our rallying cry. Yahawah goes to fight for Israel. Okay. Now the next one, we're going to go a few chapters over. Number 192. The camp of Yahawah must be kept in a sanitary condition. Deuteronomy 23 and 9. Number 193. The camp of Yahawah must be equipped with the necessary implements to keep it in a sanitary condition, and each must do his part. Deuteronomy 23, 12 through 14. So let's go to Deuteronomy 23. And this is pretty much dealing with cleanliness in the camp, custodial duties, you know, making sure that we're not leaving um, waste amongst the camp, right? When Israel was camping out in the tents, going to the land of Canaan, we had to make sure that we were keeping things clean. Okay? So this is Deuteronomy 23 and 9. When the host goeth forth against thine enemies, then keep thee from every wicked thing. Uh, okay, so they want me to start at 9. Well, really, I should start at 10. Okay, so let me start at 10. Certain of these precepts is kind of off once you get into the actual scriptures. But that's why we're here to bring the full clarification. That's why the Lord set the prophets and the teachers up. Certain things, these articles and these Christians and these Bible scholars and websites, put together certain things. And a lot of things are straightforward, a lot of things they're right on. But once you get into the scriptures, you have to extrapolate the right way. So that's what I'm doing here, you know, because that was wrong. Okay, so really Deuteronomy 23 and 10. So it says, if there be among you any man that is not clean by reason of uncleanness that chanceth him by night, then shall he go abroad out of the camp. He shall not come within the camp. So let's get this in the NLT so you can understand what it means by a man in his uncleanness. Deuteronomy 23 and 10. Any man who becomes ceremonially defiled because of a nocturnal emission must leave the camp and stay away all day. Verse 11. Toward evening he must bathe himself, and at sunset he may return to the camp. All right. It says, you must have designated an area outside the camp where you can go to eat yourself. So you have to have now in times of war, uh, even during times of certain world wars, the soldiers would have to, when they were on the battlefield, they would have to dig something called a latrine. And I showed the images last week, but I'm gonna show it this week again as I'm speaking on it. So a latrine, a toilet or outhouse, especially a communal one in a camp or barrack. We're speaking about the camp, right? When the fighting men of Israel was out in the military camp, we had to leave outside the area of the camp and really dig a hole where we can use the restroom. Okay, so this is a latrine, right? Let me see here. Types of latrine. So this is in the Wikipedia. Pit latrine. See, all this is history right here, right? I'll just read this quick. A pit latrine is a simple and inexpensive toilet, minimally defined as a hole pit in the ground, right? More sophisticated pit latrines may include a floor plate of ventilation to reduce odor and fly mosquito breeding, right? That's also why you see when you go into a restroom, you see that there's those drains, right? Especially in the public restroom, there's usually a drain on the floor, okay? And that's there for a reason. Trench latrine. It is a location without longer term sanitation infrastructure, such as emergency sanitation. And they would pretty much dig a hole in the ground for a trench latrine. So that's pretty much what the Lord is saying here. We have to designate an area outside the camp where we can go to relieve ourselves. So the Most High, He's very intricate, and how He wants things done. All right, and cleanliness, as the saying goes, cleanliness is next to godliness. That's not in the scriptures, by the way, but that is a part of being holy, by being clean. Verse 13: each of you must have a spade as part of your equipment. So you have to have a shovel. So you might have a sword, and you might have like a shovel or a spade shovel to to dig the hole. Whenever you relieve yourself, dig a hole with a spade and cover the excrement. So the Most High covers everything, okay? The camp must be holy, for the Lord Yahawah your God moves around in your camp to protect you and to defeat your enemies. Right? He can't. How's he gonna protect you? But you using the restroom everywhere where you're camping out at. So you got to go so many feet away from the camp, then use the restroom because that could get soldiers sick. It says he must not see any shameful thing among you, or he will turn away from you. Yeah, so the Most High don't like you know someone being disgusting. Okay, so the law covers all kinds of things. All right, so let's go to the next one. All right, so now let's get into the main laws of this week. So I covered that for last week. So now our duties to our fellow man. Number 194. Stolen property must be returned to the owner. Leviticus 6, 2 through 5. And I guess I can stay in the NLT version. Sins requiring a guilt offering. Leviticus 6 and 1. Then the Lord Yahawah said to Moses, suppose one of you sins against your associate and is unfaithful to the Lord Yahawah. Suppose you cheat in a deal involving a security deposit, or you steal or commit fraud, or you find lost property and lie about it, or you lie while swearing to tell the truth, or you commit any other such sin. If ye have sinned in any of these ways, you are guilty. You must give back whatever you stole, or the money you took by extortion, or the security deposit, or the lost property you found. So you have to be, you got to deal rightly amongst your people. But today, our people purposely jug and snake and Jake and supplant each other. That's why you see a bunch of homicides amongst so-called blacks in our nation, Hispanics too, gangs and all of that. That's all these gangs do: steal and lie and cheat and extort. So to keep that gang culture out of Israel, the Lord said, "Listen, whatever you take from someone, you got to give it back." Right? Verse 5, or anything obtained by swearing falsely, you must make restitution by paying the full price plus an additional 20% to the person you have harmed. On the same day, you must present a guilt offering. As a guilt offering to the Lord Yahawah, you must bring to the priest your own ram with no defects, or you may buy one of equal value. So this is when we were going over when we would do sacrifices for everything. Through this process, the priest will purify you before the Lord Yahawah, making you right with him. And you will be forgiven for any of these sins you have committed. Right? Now, what did Yahweh Shai say about if you have an alt with your brother? Right? Let me see, how's it spelled? If you have, let me see. Um, gift at the altar before you leave your. Oh, I'm sorry, because I'm looking for the KJV. Leave your gift. Spell altar wrong. Okay, so yeah, so Matthew 5, Matthew 5 and 23. Therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and there remembers that thy brother hath aught against thee. So if you stole something from him, if you have any kind of issue with brothers, leave there thy gift before the altar and go thy way. So you basically make it right with your brother. First be reconciled to thy brother, and then come and offer thy gift. All right? So we have to deal rightly. Even Yahawah was, letting us know to keep these laws, man. Okay? Because if you deal right, have aught with your brother, you will no need to take a ram and sacrifice it and have the priest purify you. You know, love thy brothers as thyself. Okay? Leviticus 6 and 7. Through this process, the priest will purify you before the Lord Yahawah, making you right with him, and you will be forgiven for any of these sins you have committed. So you see how righteous the Bible is, but the white man wrote it. The devil wrote it. The devil is so intricate in righteousness that he used right. Come on, man. These are the laws from the heavens above. Okay? Esau didn't come up with this. Illuminati didn't come up with this. All right? This is divine inspiration from the supreme power, the most high power, Yahawah himself. Okay? The next one, number 195, the poor must be taken care of according to Yahawah's laws. Deuteronomy 15 and 8 and 11. So let's go to Deuteronomy 15. Deuteronomy 15. I'll go back to the KJV. Come on now. There we go. So Deuteronomy 15 and 8. Verse 7. If there be among you a poor man of any one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land, which the Lord Yahawah thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thy heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother. So if you see an Israelite, and this is why Apostle R, you know, messing with, Bishop Nate. They call us bums, but they won't take care of us, you know. But that's in the law, but they're supposed to be pushing the law, for our people. There's a lot of laws that you have to understand that we as a nation apply to take care of each other. This is one of them. All right, verse 8. But thou shalt open thy hand wide unto him, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need in that which he wanted. So you got to take care of him, man. Okay. Um, I'll just read down. Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, saying, the seventh year, the year of release is at hand, and thine eye be evil against thy poor brother, and thou givest him not, meaning nothing. You don't give him nothing. And he cry unto Yahawah against thee, and it be sin unto thee. Then thou shalt surely give him, and thine heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him. Does not the scripture say that the Lord loveth the cheerful giver? Sometimes a brother might need a collection or something, if you got it, then give it up. Right. 2 Corinthians 9 and 7. Every man according as he purposeth in his heart, so let him give. Not grudgingly, right? So don't let it be, like I said here, don't be grieved when thou givest. So, so you see how the laws were pushed even when you go to the New Testament? Every man according as he purposeth in his heart, so let him give, not grudgingly or of necessity, for the Most High loveth a cheerful giver. Okay? So all this ties into these laws. And if I wasn't reading these laws, I wouldn't be able to tie this in. But this is the spirit kind of showing you like, oh, see, now you understand the New Testament now when you go into these statutes. Okay? And this is how you come up on a level. All right. So let's go to the next one. 196. When a Hebrew slave goes free, the owner must give him gifts. Deuteronomy 15, 12 through 14, 18. Okay. So I'm here. Uh, all right, so let me finish this. Thou shalt surely give him, and thine heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him, because that for this thing the Lord Yahawah thy God shall bless thee in all thy works, and in all that thou puttest thy hand unto. For the poor shall never cease out of the land. Therefore I command thee, saying, Thou shalt open thy hand wide unto thy brother, to thy poor, and to thy needy in thy land. Okay? So we have to take care of each other. We are our brother's keeper. Don't be like Cain. You know what happened to him, and you know what's gonna happen to him in this go around, his people, the Edomites. They're gonna be taken out and destroyed. Because Esau's Cain reincarnated. Deuteronomy 15 and 12. And if thy brother, an Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee, and serve thee 6 years, then in the seventh year thou shalt let him go free from thee. So, meaning like an employee, or servant, because we would sell service like, listen, you work for me, you pay this amount, right? Like a man could sell his daughter to another Hebrew man to work for him. You got a 13, 14-year-old daughter, you can sell it to another Hebrew Israelite brother, uh, and she would serve him, maid. Women were always maid servants, okay, handmaidens, maid servants, right? That was their duty to serve men, all right? So that's just an example. And when thou sendest him out free from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty. Thou shalt furnish him liberally out of thy flock and out of thy floor and out of thy winepress. Of that wherewith the Lord Yahawah thy God hath blessed thee, thou shalt give unto him. Yeah, so here it is. You had this Israelite brother working for you for 7 years, and you got all kinds of sheep and goats and crops. And then after the 7 years, he goes out without nothing. Nah, man, you give him a percentage of what you gain because of his work and his service, and everybody benefits. See, with Yahawah Bashmi Shai, everybody benefits. Okay? That's why when you read the scriptures, it says what? It says the law is righteous. Okay? The law is righteous. Yeah. Deuteronomy 4 and 8. And what nation is there so great that had statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day? Okay? So everybody eats, B. Right? Like they said from Paid in Full, what they say, everybody eats. Okay? Everybody's blessed. The Lord blesses you, you bless another brother. Okay? Verse 15. And thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in the land of Egypt, and the Lord thy power redeemed thee. Therefore I command thee this thing today. Okay? Let me see. Okay, right, through 18. And it shall be if he say unto thee, I will not go away from thee, because he loveth thee and thine house, because he is well with thee. So let's say you got an Israelite brother been working for you. He like, man, you know what, man, I don't really want to leave out and do my own thing. I'll just, I just serve you, I work here, I'm well taken care of. right? It says, then thou shalt take an awl and thrust it through his ear unto the door. Okay, let's look up what an awl is. So you, so you know what an awl is, and this is what Esau is trying to do. Um, and this is what Esau is trying to do, but he's trying to give you the microchip implant because he wants you to be his servant. Okay, let me see. All in ear. Right. So when you look this up, an all will be put through your ear, right? Like we got earrings, right? So they'll stick a needle through the ear, and uh and and that would be how they would show. That's how a servant would show that he is a servant of another Israelite. Okay. Um, even with even with I said cat cattles. Even with cows and animals, what do? They tag their ears to show that they belong to a particular farmer. Okay. So they get tagged. All right. So that's what will happen in the scriptures with servants. All right, Deuteronomy 15 and 17. Then thou shalt take an awl and thrust it through his ear unto the door, and he shall be thy servant forever. And also unto thy maidservant thou shalt do likewise. So men and women was could serve a Hebrew Israelite forever. Right? It shall not seem hard unto thee when thou sendest him away from thee. So it's not a hard thing to send him away. Give him some gifts. All right. For he hath been worth a double hired servant to thee. Right. Certain companies, when you retire and leave a company, certain companies will give you stocks, a stake in the company, certain percentage, a couple of stocks. So certain dedicated workers, employees, whenever they retire or leave a company, they don't leave empty. They get that from the scriptures. You're going to realize that a lot of things uh, in this society, even here in America, comes from the law and the scriptures. It all goes back to the Bible, but they don't commit fully to it 100% because they're not the Israelites. Um, it says, "For he hath been worth a double hired servant to thee, in serving thee 6 years, and the Lord Yahawah thy God shall bless thee in all that thou doest." Okay, let's go to the next one. Number 197. Loans to brothers must be without interest. Exodus 22 and 25. Exodus 22 and 25. It says, if thou lend money to any of my people that is poor, you go to poor again, that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as an usurer, neither shalt thou lay upon him usury. Okay? I want to get this in the NLT. Exodus 22 and 25. If you lend money to any of my people who are in need, do not charge interest as a money lender would. So if a brother wants to borrow $20, you don't say, oh, well, you got to give me 25 back. No, he borrowed 20, you give you 20 back. Okay? Now it says if you take your neighbor's cloak as a security for a loan, you must return it before sunset. Yeah, because he need that blanket. He need that coat. This coat may be the only blanket your neighbor has. How can a person sleep without it? If you do not return it and your neighbor cries out to me for help, then I will hear, for I am merciful. Okay. So, whatever you let someone borrow or loan, you don't treat them wrong. Okay. Treat them right. Let's go to the next one. 198. Loans to the foreigner, which is of the heathen nations, the Hamites, the Edomites, the Moabites, the Ammonites, the Japhites, may be with interest. Deuteronomy 23 and 21. Deuteronomy 23 and 21. When you make a vow, this is vow. This is right. Let me make sure. Deuteronomy 23, 21. Yeah, see, they get things wrong. So I'll start at 19. Deuteronomy 23 and 19. Do not charge interest on the loans you make to a fellow Israelite, whether you loan money or food or anything else. Yeah, you don't, you know, I need $100. Well, shoot, I'm gonna need 120 back. No, okay. Just give him 100, and if he has to pay you back, give him 100 back. You may charge interest to foreigners, but you may not charge interest to Israelites. See how the Lord makes a difference between the other nations, which are foreigners here? Obviously, Israelites is talking about all 12 tribes. So Gad, Reuben, Manasseh, and Asher didn't charge interest to each other. But the Esau, them Edomites come over there, them Hamites, right? If they want to um which back then it was the Canaanite tribes were still dwelling amongst Israel back then. So the Canaanites were trying to get some loans or whatever, because the Lord told us not to purge the Canaanites out all at once. So it had to happen over time. So, for example, if a Canaanite was trying to get something from Israel, then we could charge them interest, but not to each other. Okay? It says you may charge interest to foreigners, but you may not charge interest to Israelites, so that the Lord Yahawah your God may bless you in everything you do in the land you are about to enter and occupy. Because we was about to get the land. So these laws were put in place for everything to be done decently and in order. Israelites, you treated better than you did the other nations. That's just how the Lord told it to that's how the Lord told us to uh, uh, apply these commandments. So number 199, restore a pledge for a loan to its owner if he needs it. Deuteronomy 24 and 12. Let's see if that's right. I'll start at verse 10. If you lend anything to your neighbor, do not enter his house to pick up the item he is giving as security. You must wait outside while he goes in and brings it out to you. Yeah, you don't just go in and take your item from him. Okay? Matter of fact, I'm going to show you something in the Apocrypha, right? Where it tells you uh, not to peek in the door. Okay? Well, let me see. Peek in the door, but I want to get it out of Ecclesiasticus, Sirach. Well, let me search, and then let me modify the search to the Apocrypha. Do it like that. Uh, yep. Ecclesiasticus 21 and 23. A fool will peep in at the door into the house, but he that is well nurtured will stand without. So when you so so this applies here. If you lend anything to your neighbor, do not enter his house to pick up the item he is giving as security. Walking into his house, here it is, he's giving you something, and you just walk in and take it. Nah, you must wait outside while he goes in and brings it out to you. That's just respect. Okay. Now, the brother be like, hey man, come on. come on in, I'll give it to you. That's different. But these laws are set up so you can know how to respect your neighbor's house, especially especially if he's loaning you something. Okay. Um, Verse 12: If your neighbor is poor and gives you his cloak as a security for a loan, do not keep the cloak overnight. Yeah, like well, today we call this security for a loan collateral. Okay. Return the cloak to his owner by sunset so he can stay warm through the night. I read this in the other scripture. And bless you, and the Lord Yahawah your God, your power, will count you as righteous. Okay. So we have to do the right thing. All right. If it's collateral, then go ahead and give it back if you need it. Okay. If your poor neighbor needs it. So let's go to the next one. Number 200, pay the hired worker his wages on time. Deuteronomy 24 and 15. I'm gonna go back to the KJV for this. Deuteronomy 24 and 14, 15. I read 14. Thou shalt not oppress an hired servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of thy brethren or of thy strangers that are in thy land within thy gates. Now, this word for strangers in the Hebrew should refer back to an Israelite. So it should be Gar. Yep. Strangers is Gar, which Gar is speaking about an Israelite. Yep. Sojourner, a temporary inhabitant. So let's say a Gadite was hired to work for a Reubenite. That Gadite would be a stranger in the land of Reuben, still an Israelite, but he doesn't have inherited rights to that tribe's land. Of foreigners in Israel, though conceded rights. Okay, so Gar is speaking on the Israelites because remember all the tribes were like their own nations within themselves. So it says, "Thou shalt not oppress an hired servant that is poor and needy." We're just talking about Israelites, whether he be of thy brethren, right, of the same tribe, or of thy strangers, or different Israelite tribe that are in thy land within thy gates. At his day thou shalt give him his hire. Whatever he's working for, if he's working for 200 shekels, you give him 200 shekels. Neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor. And see, we were paid every day. Whatever our wages were for the day, that's what the employer, so to speak, would pay for that day. Okay, not waiting a week or 2 weeks or getting paid once a month. Nah, we got paid every day. We don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. Okay. It says, for he is poor and set of his heart upon it. Yeah, like man, he really needed, like, here it is, you got somebody that doesn't really have it like that, and you working for 150, $200 a day, right? What, $20 an hour, 10, 10 hours a day, all day, sun up to sundown. And he like, yeah, shoot, man, when I get done with this, I'm gonna get my my wages. And you don't give him the 200. I'm just using this for example. Then that's wrong. Okay. And it says he set his heart upon it. Like, man, he really want, like, he working good throughout that day because he know you're gonna get that 200. He set his mind on that money, but you don't give it to him. It says, lest he cry against thee unto the Lord Yahawah, and it be sin unto thee. Okay? So we gotta be careful with how we dealing with brothers and working for each other, or loaning each other things. Just do deal right. Right? It all goes back to what Yahawah Shai said: "Love thy neighbor as thyself." Okay. So now this is 201. Permit the poor to eat of the produce of the vineyard or the standing grain. Deuteronomy 23:24 through 25. And now this is all, what's it say? What does it say? Our duties to our fellow man. So how we treat our fellow Israelite man. Okay. So Deuteronomy 23:24 and 25. Deuteronomy 23 and 24. When thou comest into thy neighbor's vineyard, then thou mayest eat grapes thy field at thine own pleasure. So let's say you go into a neighbor's yard and they got apples or grapes, okay? You can eat all the grapes you want while you're there, but you don't take no grapes and put them in no basket, you know, put it in no bag and take it home with you. It says, but thou shalt not put any in thy vessel, okay? When thou comest into the standing corn of thy neighbor, then thou mayest pluck the ears with thine hand, but thou shalt not move a sickle unto thy neighbor's standing corn. Yeah, because it's basically stealing. So you can eat, you know, the corn and the grapes, but you don't cut nothing down and you know take as much as you can eat. You might get, shoot, Jake can eat. You might get 3 or 4 ears of corn, but that's it. Eat your fill and go about your business. You don't cut nothing down or take nothing from your neighbor's yard, vineyard, yard, crops. Okay. See how the Lord is just showing us how to deal right with each other. This is beautiful. Um, so now number 202. Help a stranger who has a fallen animal. Exodus 23. Exodus 23 and 5. Let's see if this is right. Okay, let's start at 4. If thou meet thy enemy's ox or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again. Let's say you see your neighbor's dog. Bring the dog back, okay? If thou see the ass of him that hateth thee lying under his breast, so even if he's Israelite, you don't really mess with. If thou see the ass of him that hateth thee lying under his burden, and wouldest forbear to help him, thou shalt surely help with them. Man, if you see something that brother's going through, help him out. That's all the scripture's saying. Okay? The Lord is putting laws together for us to treat each other the right way. Okay? It makes everybody a whole lot better. And where it says here, enemy, well, where he may be your enemy, y'all may start to get along. You know, you may reconcile. But the Lord put these intricate spiritual righteous laws in place for us to think about it. You know, think with your think with your think in righteousness and peace. Okay, not why I gotta do that to that nigga. Nah, we don't think like that. Okay. Number 203, 203. Help your brother who has a fallen animal. Okay, yes. So that was dealing with. It says stranger here. It said enemy, but your brother too. So one of your friends, I guess. Deuteronomy 22 and 4. Deuteronomy 22 and verse 4. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ass or his ox fall down by the way, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt surely help him to lift them up again. So here it is, you see, your brother dealing with something, and you're like, nah, I ain't gonna help. Nah, help them out. Brothers in the camps help each other out all the time. You know, brothers might need to jump with the car. Brothers might need help putting something up. Brothers need help moving. If it's in your ability, help them out. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Number 204. Lost property must be restored to its owner. Exodus 23 and 4. Deuteronomy 22 and 1. Deuteronomy 22 and 1 is right here. Sundry laws. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ox or his sheep go astray, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt in any case bring them again unto thy brother. All these pretty straightforward. Okay? Let me go back to that Exodus. What was it? Exodus 23 and 4. Yeah, I read this. Okay. Same thing. So now let's go to number 205. Those who sin must be corrected. Leviticus 19 and 17. Leviticus 19, 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. This is why we do videos on Israelites and Israelite groups, Israelite women going off. If you're going off, we have to rebuke and correct you because you are leading yourself into sin. So if you're teaching the MOTB, it's not the micro C hip implant, then that's sin because you're taking away from the understanding of Bible prophecy and the word. Especially if you know what it is, then we have to rebuke you and correct you. That's in the law. So GMS is keeping the law, and you other Israelite groups that never say nothing, y'all breaking the law. Y'all not correcting your brothers or doing response videos and trying to lead us, the right way. Only GMS really, for the most part, is a constant force in the defense of the gospel. Okay, so we got to rebuke each other to keep each other on the right path. That's all. All right. Number 206. Love your neighbor, whether a brother or an enemy, as yourself. Leviticus 19:18. How shall quotes this? All right. Leviticus 19:18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord Yahawah. You can't tell me that Yahweh Shai, but then they say, well, we don't keep the commandments anymore because Yahweh Shai, these Christians, man. Jesus Christ, he died on the cross. We don't have to do that no more. Well, if you really understood the scriptures and the spirit of the Bible, and you really understood what Yahweh Shai was saying, right? What the Messiah was saying, he was always quoting from the law, and he was leading people back to the law, back, a further understanding on the commandments. Okay, love your neighbor, right? Love your neighbor. Okay, hold on. All thy heart, love the Lord, love. I'm just putting in words that's in the scripture. Let's go to the New Testament. Yeah, Matthew 22 and 36. Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Yahweh Shai said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord Yahweh, thy power with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. Number 39, or verse 39. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Yahweh also said that if you hear not Moses' writing, then you won't be able to hear mine. Okay? Matter of fact, here, not his writings. I said writings. His writings. You hear not Moses' writings. Let me see. Let me see here. Moses wrote of me. Where am I getting this typing from? Let's see if I can find it. Okay, here we go. John 5, John 5 and 46. For had ye believed Moses, ye would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if ye believe not his writings, how shall ye believe my words? So Yahweh was not teaching us to not keep the law. He was basing his teachings off of the law that the Most High Yahweh gave Moses to give us a further understanding on how we can naturally and spiritually keep these things without it, without us having to be under the curse of the letter of the law. All right? Leviticus 19 and 18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord Yahweh. So Yahweh Shai said the same thing his father said. Okay? Number 207. Love the stranger and the new convert among you. Deuteronomy 10 and 19. Now, Lord willing, the sound saves after I get done with this. Last two laws, last few scriptures. So, Deuteronomy 10 and 19. Love ye therefore the stranger, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. Well, let's see what stranger that is. See, this is when you have to go into the Hebrew, because Christians would say, well, see, you have to love. See, strangers aren't Israelites. No, once again, the stranger, the Hebrew word there is gar, and we went over that. It means an Israelite with conceded rights. So you might have an Israelite from another tribe, which is a stranger from Ephraim, would be a stranger to Judah. Okay, so we were foreigners in another land. You're going to have strangers, foreign Israelites in other tribes. Okay, there's an account of the prophetess Anna in the book of Luke of the tribe of Asher living amongst the southern kingdom in Judah during the time of Yahweh Shai and him being born. So she would be considered a stranger amongst the tribe of Judah. She wasn't a Judite, she was of the tribe of Asher. Okay? So that's what these strangers and foreigners and brother scriptures mean when they're speaking good. Then you have those strangers and foreigners that are going to be made tributaries and servants and slaves underneath Israelites. Those are the heathen. Okay. So now let's go to number 208. Use only honest weights and measures. Leviticus 19:30. Leviticus 19:36. See if they got this right. Okay, Leviticus 19 and 35. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, in meat yard, in weight, or in measure. Just balances, just weights, a just ephah, and a just hin shall ye have. All of these were measurements that we had to, like now we got pounds and ounces and grams, and I ain't talking about, I ain't talking about, drugs and nothing, the weed. I'm just saying this is how we measured things back then. Money was used with weight. It says, I am the Lord Yahweh. Your power was brought you out of the land of Egypt. Verse 37, therefore shall ye observe all my statutes and all my judgments and do them. I am the Lord Yahawah. These are laws and commandments that we can keep. Okay? I want to read this in the NLT and see what it says. Leviticus 19 and 35. Do not use dishonest standards when measuring length, weight, or volume. Now you can understand. Your scales and weights must be accurate. Your containers for measuring dry materials or liquids must be accurate. I am the Lord Yahawah, your power, who brought you out of the land of Egypt. So you must be careful to keep all my decrees and regulations by putting them into practice. I am the Lord Yahawah. So, you know, we dealt righteously with each other. We didn't, we were clean, number one, and we dealt righteously with each other um, in all walks of life. Okay? So, with that, I'm going to end it here. I hope this was an edifying lesson. Like I said before, Lord willing, the sound keeps up this week. If not, I'll figure it out. Lord willing, or the Spirit to help me out. So all praise goes to Yahawah Bashim Yahushai Bashim Kakwadash. Once again, double honor to the apostles, bishops, elders, of great millstone. As always, shalom to the 144,000, the rest of the hopeful elect out there. Pray to hope you were edified. Shalom.